We try to go for the same types of property every time. So we always look for something on a quiet, leafy residential street, something that's in a boutique block of, say, less than 18 properties in the block. We look for properties that must have an outdoor space, they must have a car park, and something that has a bit of an X factor. We're trying to find properties that will eventually sell to an owner-occupier, or hopefully when you go to sell it, have two owner-occupiers maybe fight it out at auction. It's very important that the properties that we buy aren't generic investment style properties, whether it be in a block of 200 apartments that are all the same, or maybe an off-the-plan development that's on a major road that's in an area that's constantly developing other high-density products. These are the products we find don't go up in value as well as the more boutique blocks in the quiet, leafy, affluent suburbs. Most of our investors are looking for property between, say, 400 to 650,000, and at that sort of range or price point, we're looking at mainly units, 2-bedroom units we do a lot of. We quite often look at units that are maybe an older block, like a 60s or a 70s block, that a small amount of doing up can actually add a huge amount of value to. And generally, mostly at that level, we're looking at stuff that is in the sort of inner city affluent suburbs, not right in the middle of the city. We don't advise going into high density areas like the CBD or maybe Port Melbourne, which are really pro-development, just simply because of the supply and demand of how many apartments there are, and always are apartments coming up. What this does is creates many options for anyone who's looking to buy. There's always someone there that's willing to sell, because there are just so many apartments there. So we try to find suburbs maybe that are a little bit further out of the city, that have obviously good transport links, but where they're not developing, where getting into that suburb is desirable for not only an owner-occupier but also for a renter. Depending on the budget, of course, but we purchase a lot of investment properties for people in St Kilda, Elwood, Armidale, Malvern, South Yarra, Paran, Elston, St Kilda East even, are places that are starting to maybe grow in value and become a bit cooler as a place to live. But it really comes down to the person's budget and where we can actually invest. But generally, if it's a suburb that has good transport links, has a good sort of cafe culture, also has like a chic reputation to it, there's always going to be someone who wants to rent there. And if you go to sell the property eventually, there's always going to be someone who wants to live there and create that as their new home.